All right, so Matt, welcome to today's interview of you. Let's dive into your history about like how did you get into this crazy software as a service world, software world? What led you down this rabbit hole from where you were?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, so I had a friend I think you know, Robert McCorkle, and he had started. We've been friends for a long time. He's in my wedding and everything, and he was just saying, "Hey, man, I'm going to start drop shipping on Amazon." And I said, "Okay, whatever, whatever." And so, long story short, he starts doing it. It starts working. He gets me to try it. I do it. It starts working, but I quickly find out that Amazon's platform is pretty bad when it comes to keeping track of all of your orders and your tracking, your shipping, and all the things that go into a business, especially a drop shipping business. And so I was like, it'd be really great if there was some automation around this. And so let me start to build something. So, long story short, I started trying to build it. The first team that I used was terrible. The second team that I used was really, really good. And we built it for a long time. And then I ended up getting a partner who brought over a bunch of users, and that was cool until the partner wasn't cool anymore. And then eventually I ended up having to go our separate ways, and I started all over from scratch. And we relaunched in January, and from January through the end of this year, that's when we did these numbers that we were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. So you survived a horrible partnership.
Yes.
I always hear partnerships going wrong, really. There's a lot of horror stories with partnerships.
Yeah.
So what you had to start all over from scratch. What did it look like for you to pick up the pieces, start over from scratch? Did you have to like create a whole separate company? Do you lose all your customer base? You have to like regain them. What, like, how did you build back up from when you said from scratch?
Yeah. So I went with a completely separate development team, so a completely separate company. So yeah, different company, different developer team. Rebuilt the entire software. We didn't use any of the old code, so I got to take all the knowledge that I had of what was important and what we needed to do, and was able to launch that. And then he actually had launched his own competing software as well. So it was kind of like this battle of like who's going to get the users. We were kind of like fighting over the people that were there. So it wasn't the best experience for the users, and that was part of the problem, right? I wanted to make a good experience. He had different ideas, and so anyway, that's how it went.
Nice. So your tool, what did it solve, and what's the price point of the tool, and how did you get to your first, let's say, $10,000?
Okay, sure. So the tool is you could call it a multi-channel software for e-commerce sellers. So it supports both Amazon sellers and Walmart sellers that are doing drop shipping. And particularly, it was built for people doing drop shipping from retail stores. So if you're shipping from, let's say, Home Depot to Amazon, right? So you're listing stuff on Amazon and you're fulfilling it with Walmart or Home Depot or Bed Bath and Beyond, or if you're listing stuff on Walmart and then you're fulfilling it with Amazon or one of those other retailers, that's the market that we have been servicing. There's been some changes in the industry, so we're shifting and pivoting a little bit, but that's how we started off. And the price point is $197 a month to get started, with plans all the way up to $2,000 plus. I think we did have one or two users here and there uh, that were paying $12.97 or $14.97 a month. So it depends on how many listings, because the more listings you have in this business model, the more chances you have of sales, and the more sales you get, the more profits you make.
Oh, so it's a value-based pricing kind of model
Yep. Yep.
because
Tier
of
pricing.
the tier pricing. At $197 a month, how many listings were they able to have?
2000.
Oh, okay, 2000. So your
Mhm.
$2,000 a month person
Had
probably has
like
millions of listings.
50, 70,000, 90,000, something like that.
Wow. And then in terms of finding them as customers, what did it come from that user base that you were fighting over first, or did it come from outside?
Yeah, so the first users came from there, but we quickly grew. I think in that software, we only ever had 80 or 90 users total the entire time. And within our first couple of months of launching, we surpassed that mostly through word of mouth. Right? We built something that actually solved customers' needs. And so we were arguably the only ones, especially for Walmart, that was doing what we were doing. There was a couple other tools that users could choose if they wanted to dropship on Amazon. But as for dropshipping on Walmart, there was pretty much nothing else on the market. And so people quickly found out about us, and we were able to take advantage of that word of mouth.
Awesome. Yeah, if you are the only tool that is able to do it, and how long did it take for you to become like the only solution to tweak the software so that you're like, there's very few others that could do what you do?
Yeah, so we started it with the previous software in the previous company. We had already built for Amazon. That's where I started. And then I got approved to sell on Walmart, and Walmart started going pretty well. So I actually made a mini course as part of that other company. And so we had launched that to our users and to new users, and that kind of started people coming to Walmart. But then once we started all over, we decided, because seeing that success, we started this new software with Walmart in mind first. So we actually built it mostly for Walmart users. And that's kind of what got us all those users through word of mouth, because that was what we chose to focus on, is making sure that we were servicing them particularly, and we figured we'd get to Amazon later.
Okay, so because you focused on Walmart first, that enabled you to spread through word of mouth a lot faster than
Right.
if you were to divide your focus and try to do both at once.
Yep.
Great. What were the challenges that you came upon was the growth pretty linear with your software, or is it like up, down, up, down?
It was, for the first few months, it was pretty linear. It was growing. We were the only ones there, and really the only great option if people wanted to do this. But then we hit some bumps in the road. So the model Walmart's not particularly fond of. And so they actually ended up suspending a lot of stores and terminating a bunch of people, like kicking them off the platform completely. There's a lot of companies that have come up in the dropshipping space, some of which are unfortunately not very credible. There's a lot of automation companies that are selling, hey, we'll manage your entire store and you'll make all this money. And there's some that are great and they fulfill their promises, but there's a lot that either don't fulfill at all or fulfill very poorly. And then they also are even worse when it comes to actually taking care of Walmart's customers. So that led to a lot of people getting terminated. I mean, we're talking about some numbers, say tens of thousands of people were kicked off the platform. So it wasn't just us, but that led to a lot of drop off. At one point, we lost up to 75% of our customers within like 2 or 3 months. Yeah. So that was painful. Wow. And then it's just like, what do you do? So in terms of obstacles, we've had everything. I mean, we've had technical problems. We've had scaling software problems. We've had market forces like Walmart making policy changes or deciding to enforce policy changes that we had nothing to do with and couldn't control. We've had third-party software issues, right, with integrations that we had to do. So stuff that we could control, stuff that we couldn't control, all kinds of stuff. But we've survived. So it got kind of bumpy there for a while, and I think we've been putting a lot of time and effort into figuring out better, safer models for people. And we're ready to give it another go and another push here in 2022.
Okay, cool. It's a good thing that you keep on pushing through. So how long did it take for you to become profitable from the time that I know you encountered a lot of like issues and a lot of challenges, but in terms, software has a pretty high profit margin generally. Would you care to share for yourself, did it take a very long time for your software to become profitable? Was it fast? I know with GroupConvert, the Chrome extension, it was like a week and a half. And I was like instantly profitable.
Yeah, that's awesome. So our story was a little bit different. The software that we built is extremely complex, unfortunately. So if I had to do it all over again, maybe I'd pick a much simpler software. But it's really, really complex, integrating with these massive marketplaces, and there's lots of moving pieces with the drop shipping. There's checking stocking prices, there's tracking numbers, there's shipping issues, there's keeping track of what happens if your stuff doesn't ship or it gets lost in transit. There's virtual assistants that people use to log in, so you have sub users, and then all the hundreds or thousands of accounts. So it was really, really super complex. And because of the issue with the partnership, that company wasn't making a ton of revenue in the first place. So I basically bootstrapped it, funded the whole thing myself with my own money. So it took several months, probably 4 months or so, I say, until we were profitable, to kind of catch up on all the development work that had to go in before we started getting the users to even break even, and then eventually getting profit.
How many users did you need to become profitable?
At the time, I think we needed roughly 200 or so, 100 to 200, somewhere in there.
Okay, yeah, and 100 to 200, let's say at $200 a month. Was it average $200 a month, most of the users, or was it like somewhere in the middle, like $1,000 a month?
It was average was about $400 a month.
Okay, cool.
For most of
Do you know the LTV of your users based on the calculations that you have, lifetime value? Like how long do they stay before they generally drop off?
Yeah, so I'm hoping to get more data about that this year. We had all those suspensions and terminations, and so that kind of cut short the lifetime value of most of our customers. So most of our customers were with us and probably would have still been with us had that not happened. So I don't have a great answer on that one.
Okay. That's nice. All right. So at, let's say $400 a subscriber, and you're like 200 subscribers, then that's like $40,000 a month.
Right.
Or is it 40,000? Yeah, $40,000 a month, like MRR.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, great. That's an amazing number. And when you were growing, is it like sporadic, as in a word of mouth happens and then you would get more subscribers, or is it pretty steady at like 1 or 2 subscribers per day, or you can kind of guess, oh, a week goes by and most likely you'll get like 10 subscribers or 3?
Yeah, so in the beginning it was steady growth, and it continued to be steady growth up until all of those changes happened on the marketplaces. After that, we saw a significant drop off. We still would get people that would add, but as fast as they were adding, they were getting shut down, so then they canceled the software. And so that's actually continued for the last few months as well. So we've been kind of just keeping steady. We're losing about as many people as come on.
Oh,
so
okay.
Kind of staying around the same number.
Oh, because of interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. And what is let's say you have 200 subscribers now, what is because I know there's so many sellers online. What do you think is your market, like the value of the market that exists for, like, how many subscribers do you feel is, the total market that could use you, and the total of number of people around estimate that would say yes to using your software on a continued basis? Do you know that number, or do you have like a number in mind?
Yeah, so if I had to guess, so there's a couple ways we could think about this, right? So first, there's a number of Amazon sellers and Walmart sellers that are doing this because that's what our software service is at the moment. But there's also other marketplaces that we plan to expand to, like Facebook, which has gotten pretty big, or even people doing Shopify. So we can service all of these markets, and that's why we're continuing to build in those directions as well. So all told, the amount of e-commerce sellers, I think Amazon itself has like 1 million active sellers. Walmart has something like 100,000, which is like the only number that anybody's ever posted. But then they suspended a bunch of people. So who knows how many they have exactly. But then you have to, we narrow that to just drop shippers specifically. So if I had to guess, I'd say probably, somewhere between 20 and 50,000 drop shippers, right, across all of these different agencies that do this as a service, and the people that do it themselves on Amazon, on Facebook. If you go to Shopify, it might even be more than that. Because there's lots and lots of dropshippers on Shopify, so it's a pretty decent sized market.
Yeah, I think it's huge. And if you only have 200 subscribers now, and there are like maybe on the lower end 20,000, then you have a long way to go to capture all of the market. You're like, yes. Hey, Mike is here. Hey, guys, if you're here, just make sure that you ask questions. I see you guys just jumping on and just listening, but make sure you ask interactive questions because, the trade-off here is pretty amazing, right? Like 4 months of your life for $40,000 a month reoccurring income. That's a good deal. And then having the the whole landscape of all these drop shippers out there, and then being a solution that very few others can mimic or very few others have, is a great position to be in. Where do you, if you're kind of plateauing, like, as much as you get, you lose. I want to ask, for your current MRR, what is like the overhead cost? And this is so others who have no idea about software can get like a picture with having software that's more complicated, that's not simple like mine. Is the overhead cost pretty high? Is it for you? Can you give us like a ballpark?
Yes, it's very high. So on the low end, I think when we started, it was probably around 20 some $1,000s a month. And we've been as high as $75,000 in a single month and that's just the developer fees. And then we started, low on the hosting fees, but I think we've gotten as high as $15,000 in a month just for hosting fees. And then you have a couple other, fees for, support personnel or third-party tools for leads and, stuff like that, or marketing costs. But hard costs, as high as $100,000 in a single month.
Oh my gosh, that is super high.
Yep.
That's crazy. I looked at my Amazon AWS bill for GroupConvert and it was like 80 cents last month.
Oh my gosh.
I don't store any data.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, ours is a little different.
Whoa, that's crazy. And so cool. All right, not cool. That's high overhead costs, but you're riding this out, right?
Yep.
It's not like that every single month. Hopefully not, or else it's like negative. So what are your plans in terms of what to do for, what are your plans to get more subscribers in than losing the number of subscribers out? And there are so many educators right now teaching drop shipping. There is literally people making 6 figures plus a month teaching drop shipping as their course. And it's just insane numbers that are people like signing up on. Yeah.
So we've got a couple of different things queued up for this year. So one of them is launching our own course to teach people how to do this. We think we've figured out how to do it in a way that is going to significantly reduce the amount of accounts that are getting suspended and terminated, something that's a lot more compliant or totally compliant with Amazon and Walmart's rules, which shouldn't mean that people won't get suspended, which means they won't cancel. So we have a course coming out for that. We also have a couple of affiliates that we've talked to that are interested in promoting the course. So we're pretty excited about that. We've contracted with a company who has built out a mini webinar for a done for you service. So we'll have kind of the software as a do-it-yourself. We'll have the course to kind of go along with that, and then the higher tier will be there as well for people that want us to just run and manage their stores for them, which is something we started to do late last year. And so we have some marketing being queued up to run ads for that on Facebook and to bring in leads. And we've gotten some leads coming through our website already just with our SEO efforts. So those are a couple things. Obviously, building our Facebook group. I'm pretty behind on my GroupConvert stuff, but we have started. And so we have actually 2 Facebook groups, one with about 700 and some people in it, the other one with 200, I think. And so we've been starting to use some of the Launch Like a Pro strategies to talk about what we're doing and like what's coming, and trying to build a little bit of buzz around some new features, as well as new tools that we've released that kind of augment what we're doing and kind of help the market in general. So those are some of the strategies we have coming up this year.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of strategies. Affiliates for promoting the course, webinar done for you, a higher tier program. What I've seen helps is definitely a Facebook group and a community to sell. And this is what I've seen Russell Brunson do, and what we've kind of adopted as well. Hey, Mike. Mike is here. And Yvonne. Hey, Yvonne. If you guys have any software questions, let us know. But it would be like, how do you outspend the competition? How do you afford to pay all the high fees if you have high overhead costs? It's to sell the education as part of the front end, and then include the software as part of the package. So like, $2,000 a month. Well, let's have it $400 a month. $400 a month you could sell as a 6-month education package, so that they don't get their stores banned and all that stuff as a front end. And then, you said you have a mini course, but definitely pairing the education up with all these others. You don't have to do the education yourself, but if you did do the education yourself, then you would be able to probably do, in terms of coaching and just group coaching and having that set out for your business. Yeah, you could probably do. I've seen Amazon drop shipping education people do anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 a month to $1 million a month, selling like a course that is like $3,000, and wow, it's pretty insane.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
About drop shipping. So okay, cool. And you talked about Launch Like a Pro. So how has ChromeBus helped you in thinking about these marketing ideas? Yeah, like how has the community and the information help you in forming some of these strategies?
Yeah, so I think one of the main things is that I have tried to learn from you, Kim, is you're always launching something all the time, like every 3 days, right? And I'm like, man, like literally you learn something the next day, it's posted on Facebook with a course with somebody that you're interviewing, to go over it in more detail, and you've sold it. And I'm like, this definitely needs to be a part of our strategy, because we are, we've been working a lot on features, but we haven't been great at just communicating those features to people. And so we're kind of trying to do it the reverse this year of let's communicate, let's talk to the customers, get them excited about the features, and then even get their input on the features, so that when we build it the first time, it's as it has their feedback, and so they're going to be more likely to adopt it because it exactly meets their needs. We met their needs in the beginning when we built the original tool, but as we've gone and we've grown and built more features, sometimes we've built features for like one person, right? Nobody else uses it, and so it's like, well, let's slow down and let's kind of come at this from a different angle, more like the Launch Like a Pro way of doing it. Of like, hey, this is what we have before we even do it, right? This is what we have. This is what we're building. Let's what do you guys think about this? Who wants to be on the beta test? We can give you a discount, or we can add you some. We have credits in our system too. We can give you some free credits or something, so that we can start to have that conversation with our customers while we're building, which I think is going to give us a lot more success this year.
Absolutely. they like to be involved in the creation of the next feature. And also what I learned from Paulson, who grew Go High Level to, I think in a year they do 60 million now, which is insane. But he said that instead of so he said he has 200 plus features in Go High Level, and the reason why they have people stay in the long run is because they have group coaching every single week inside of their Facebook group. And they really go and dive deep into the reason why a subscriber will cancel, which is it is not just one thing. It isn't just like because his people is agencies, and his software is very complicated, just like yours. Yours have a lot of features. His a lot of features. He said the reason why they grew was in order for an agency to be successful, they're not just using a tool and all of a sudden they're successful. That they need to know how to sell, they need to know how to convert, they need to know how to do the marketing. They need to kind of be a 360-degree CEO. And so because his software integrates directly with Stripe, he saw when people were suffering. He's like, oh, you're not, collecting that many deals this month, right? And he would come in and he would literally do tons and tons of meetings with all these companies and give them the sales coaching, give them all types of coaching to build them into a sustainable business. And then because that business is sustainable, they need them. So for you, I kind of see a similar journey where drop shipping is a good business if they know the nuances and the different things to have a drop shipping business that lasts more than a month. A lot of people, when they start off drop shipping, the reason why they stop is because their margins are really low, or they have a lot of returns, or they don't know how to control stock inventory. And if they're educated in all those pieces, but you're the one in control of the education, like you help figure it out, probably you're the best person that they can learn from, but you go in and you help them individually, move them upwards. You find a person that's paying you like $400 a month, and you move them, you help them into a $1,000 a month kind of client, or 2,000, because they figure out the broken pieces of their business. Then with the same number of subscribers you have, you could increase your profit by a lot.
2.5x.
Yeah, and then the word of mouth that comes from that is exponential, because they'll be like, oh yeah, this person helped me with the business itself. And the longer that the more successful they are at the fundamental business, they will stay a lot longer. And kind of like how Alex Becker, he gives a lot of value with just education on how to do Facebook ads for free, in order to have clients succeed, and then spend more money on ads then, and then that increases his monthly reoccurring for their account, because the more revenue they make, the higher he charges everyone.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good advice. Yeah.
And then Philip says, can he offer class for others like me for software creator experience? So I don't know, like, if Matt teaches people how to have a software, but we have our Chromebus community, and if you want to get started on owning your own simple software, we really approach it in a very simplistic manner. Even now, when people are asking me to add features, Matt, I'm just like, no. I would rather serve the millions who need us at the very basic level, and then have like the super advanced marketers graduate out of us than try to serve the few super advanced people. Because it takes so much education to even like get there. but you are in
Yeah.
the conflict. You're in that area of like serving the more advanced people. So it does require that education for them to get there. And then another thing that was shared to me was sometimes they only need one feature of what all you offer, just one thing. And there's a whole community that just wants that one feature, and then that's it. And so if you can create an echo chamber effect to these pockets that just use one feature of your whole thing, then you can like get more users that way where they're happy with just one or two features of your whole software. So you don't have to sell it as, hey, it's all of it, or to be able to find this useful. It's useful because of that one feature or two features.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, cool. I'm glad you mentioned Launch Like a Pro. I am super happy that you are like continuing. A 40K MRR is no joke. I know you have high overhead, so you gotta bust through acquisition, continue acquiring, and then reducing churn. Let me see. One of the things
Yeah.
that helped me reduce churn is definitely community, which is what you're doing. You're building the Facebook group and you're building that community aspect to not have people see you as just like a cold software company that they can just cancel on, and see you as someone they want to support. And having a Facebook group of 700 people, that's huge. That's a big Facebook group. Yeah. Well, okay, guys. I don't see you guys ask a lot of questions for this interview. You're not like asking me or Matt a bunch of questions. Um, so Matt, I want to ask you, what are the biggest challenges that you see up ahead, in terms of what you're trying to do, and then what are the ways that you feel like you'll overcome those challenges?
Sure. Yeah. So I think the biggest challenge is actually what you were saying, right? Is going to be educating our users on the software and simplifying the software. I think our biggest complaint from our users was that the software appears very complex. So for the power users that use their software, so we have some agencies that run on the software as well, and they run dozens of accounts or sometimes hundreds of accounts on our software, which is great. And so for them, they would never even think about going somewhere else because they understand the tool, they understand how to use it, they understand how powerful it is. But for a brand new user or even a new agency that's not used to using software, it can be overwhelming when they first look in. Right? There's just lots going on because the software has so many features and there's so many ways you can dial it in. So making it simple, keeping it powerful, but making it more simple, I think is one of our biggest challenges that we have to overcome this year. And then the other is training people, like the education piece, right? Training people, and because that line has been difficult for me to find, right? Do I teach them how to do the entire dropshipping model, everything A to Z, and then how to use the software? And if so, like, do we just give that away for free and then we just hope that they use the software? Because like you said, people are out there selling dropshipping for thousands of dollars a month and there's no software. So how much do I teach them and how much do I put on them? Because like you said, the more that they learn, the more that they know the business, the longer they'll stay with me once they understand the business and they're making money. But that's also a lot of that could potentially be a lot of time and such to educate them on the entire business model so that because some people don't even know how to dropship, right? They just sign up and they're like, hey, this software is going to do it for me. And that's not even really how we advertise, but that's still what some people think. So making it super simple and educating people and finding the right balance of what to educate them on, I think, are the two biggest obstacles for us right now.
Yeah, I would. The first thing I would do is cover your overhead costs right away with education. I would charge like a 3 to 5K program course to cover your overhead costs, maybe even higher than that, like a 10K program, and pitch that and get good at giving them like results pretty quickly. And then they get your software as part of like the backend, so that I feel when I look at Facebook group owners and they pitch like a high ticket offer to the course, which is to their audience, which is teaching a course, they can do 50 to 75K to 100K in as little as like 1 month or 2 months. And so that run rate is actually pretty low. Like it's a very small run rate, like 1 or 2 months. And then you're teaching them as you're going, but what you're doing is you're really figuring out all the problems, all the objections, all the little things, and it'll help you hone it'll just pay for all that high overhead costs off the bat while you are learning what they really truly like need in order to succeed with their dropshipping business. So instead of handing that off to like other educators and other people, if this is your thing, I would get good at figuring out the education part, and you can do that in a short period of time. Like if you really dedicate a couple of months to really figuring out, hey, like, why are some dropshippers bad? Why are some dropshippers canceling on the software? What's the root cause of their cancellation? Not the software, but like, why is their business sucking? And because there are some people who are surviving, who are paying you thousands of dollars. What are they doing right other than, I don't know. The truth is, I don't really know unless you go, and I might even sit with them. I might even go and visit them, or, physically fly over there and figure out like, hey, what are you doing right? And pay them for the time too to figure it out. Or buy their course, buy a bunch of dropshipping courses and see what's going on. And then that's one way to pay for all the high overhead. The other way would be to partner up, and this is where you don't have to do the education. Partner up with these educators and give charge them a set monthly for them to go and become a resale partner at cost, at your cost, so that you're spreading your name without losing money. They just pay whatever it is at cost, kind of like how Zapier charges you per task, per API pull. And that way, these educators, they already know how to have these dropshippers be successful, and they are the one taking the reins, and then they can give software too. And what's cool is if you allow them the opportunity to even charge for that, overnight, they become like kind of like not white label, but software CEOs, partners that they're giving their community this free tool, or this tool that is part of their paid program. And it gives them a lot of goodwill to their community, and it will spread your name without you losing like a bunch of money, because the head creator who's making a ton of money selling courses can afford to pay for your at cost fees. So
you're saying to include the subscription fees in the like basically give the agencies the ability to white label the software, or to like kind of do a partnership where their people are paying a subscription for the software, but just covering our fees, not any profit?
Yeah, white label. And I would do the white label thing, or you could call it partnership, for a few creators. And if that works out really well, then the next creators that you reach out to, you charge them a monthly reoccurring amount. So they're not using it themselves. They're just teaching it, but because they're a teacher of it, they can include the software as part of their education package, so that it allows your name to proliferate in a faster manner. I mean, that's how I was able to spread a lot of my software out, because I would talk to the creators and I said, hey, this is the deal. You know, you pay me per month, and I take care of all the customer support. I take care of your people, and you get X amount of licenses to give to your people, and they love it. They're like, oh, that's great. That means that, you know, along with my course, they get the software. And I said, yeah. And the software helps them do what they are being taught to do anyways. And they're like, oh, that's great. So in me finding partners, finding educators is usually at live events. Um, those are my biggest supporters. And I also find them virtually, but I eventually meet them live as well. So live events have been super impactful in me finding partners that last for a long time. And these people, they make so much money in their courses and other things that they see your like monthly amount that you're charging them as part of the cost of doing business and part of their course. So they don't even see it as like a nuisance or like a side thing. So yeah.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Facebook user says, hi, Matt, what's your plan for 2022? Matt answered that a little bit a while ago, but he can answer that again, and then we can wrap this up, this interview up as well, with a few questions I have left about where can they find you, what's your software name. All right, so Matt, what's your plan for 2022? Where do you want to take your MRR goals, your yearly ARR? What is your goal?
So I think that we plan to at least double. I'd really like to maybe triple or even 5x, because most of like, so we did 1 million with losing 75% of our subscribers. So you can imagine where we would have been had, you know, that not changed. And so if we can figure out a way around that to keep people safe, which I think that we've figured out, we've put a ton of time into the last 2 months figuring this out and testing it and building out all of this infrastructure. And you know, we have a really big moat, which is nice. It's hard for people to be able to do and build the same thing that we've done because it's so much time and effort and money. But that's the plan, right? If we can make this safe for people so that the people that are already doing this, they already know how to do it, but they've been having trouble with their accounts. If we can figure out ways to get them all back up and running and then keep them safe, that itself would probably help us double. And then with the courses and some of these other strategies that you just talked about, Kim, if we can really execute on those, I think that we have a solid shot of maybe even tripling or maybe even getting to 5 million for the year, which would be fantastic.
Oh, yeah, that's great. Absolutely. Actually, I kind of, it just struck me. One of the people who's coming to GroupConvert live, Matt, he's done over $1 million in affiliate for course sales for Amazon fulfillment and drop shipping stuff. And so he has a huge community, over 80,000 people in his Facebook group, about all about Amazon. So yeah, he's gonna be at the event. I think you should come to just meet him and form that relationship with him as well, if you're available in March. I don't know if you are, but it's March 3rd to the 6th.
Yeah, I have another summit in March in Texas, so I just gotta make sure the dates line up. But yeah, I'd love to be there.
Okay, yeah. Another summit in Texas. There's a lot of summits in Texas in March for some reason. I just spoke to another person and they're like, oh yeah, there's a summit in Texas and it's the 13th. He said the 13th to the 25th or something. So, all right, yeah. Like, I'll hit you up after this and see if you want to come. Of course, you're already a client, so you get like a good pricing on the ticket. And yeah, like part of the event that we have, it's going to be Facebook group growth people and then software people. So if you can make it, I think it would be a good environment for you to like sync up and also to network with this dude as well.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, cool. So, guys, that is Matt's plan for 2022 to double or 5x. And the future is bright with losing 75% of his subscribers. He still did over 1 million gross. He has only 200 subscribers right now, and I always preach this. If you're going to devote your lifetime to something, and it can be impactful, it can help other people, and usually getting one subscriber on Instagram or YouTube or wherever doesn't really mean like money coming in, but getting your own subscribers for your own software does. So it's I would say when to plant that tree is like years ago when you saw people owning software, but now more than ever in this day and age, as long as you have a computer, the internet, you can reach all these developers all over the world, and you can start simple. You don't need to make super complicated, but if you do make a very complicated, bigger software, then you do create a bigger moat around you, as Matt mentioned. All right, Matt, where can they follow you? What is your software called? And yeah, where can they find you?
Sure. So our software is called Ecom Circles. So it's just ecomcircles.com. We're on Facebook we have a Facebook group called Ecom Circles as well. There's also another Facebook group called Walmart Mastery where we talk about Walmart dropshipping and sales in particular. Or you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/marketermattatron. I should probably spell that, but marketer Matt ATRON. So marketer Mattatron.
All right. Marketer Mattatron at ecomcircles.com. Super cool. Thank you, Matt, for showing up today. I'm really excited for what 2022 will bring. And yeah, hopefully I see you live also in March.
Sounds good, Kim.
All right. Bye, Matt.
See you later.
All right.
Thanks.
Right. So I'm putting Matt back into the green room. And just to remind you guys, Matt, you can X out as well since you're in the green room. I'm going to remind you guys that we do have an event coming up in March. And I'm going to share my screen. So this is the mansion that we got as part of this mastermind. It is going to be a 45 people, 50 people mastermind, so it's not going to be too crowded with a ton of people. There's a lot of open space, open air as well, and I'm going to have catered food. The attendees coming are Facebook group growth coaches, consultants, as well as software CEOs. So that to be able to come, it's workshop style environment. We're going to go through the event itself is meant to be revenue generating by itself. So we will go through how do you get subscribers? How do you have, we'll actually do work while we're there. So it's not just sitting and absorbing information and having to do a bunch of work afterwards. We will use that time to actually get what you plan to get done, whether that's front end or back end automations or client sales. We at our past event, we had clients even close deals right when they landed and then during the event itself. So if you can get some more subscribers during the event, if you can network with the person that can give you access to your perfect audience, this is where you should be. It's in Orlando, Florida. It's March 3rd to March 6th. And also our past event was a blast. We had a great time. We had a pool party. We rode roller coasters. It's an amazing experience. And this time, since it's going to be in Orlando, Florida, we might stay a few days to go to Universal Studio or to go to Disney World. I don't know. Orlando has attractions as well. So, all right, cool. Looking forward to seeing you guys there. If you want to come and attend, A ticket is $1,500. It is groupconvert.com/live-2022. I'm going to drop it into the comments here. groupconvert.com/live-2022. And I'm going to go ahead and show that as part of the here. So hopefully I see you guys there. The mansion is a $3 million mansion. It's huge. And we're going to have such a blast, such a fun time. And yeah, if you have any questions, then reach out to me, DM me, and I'll see you guys at the event. So if you are a software CEO, it's a good place to be. If you are a Facebook group growth expert, Facebook group growth person, a lot of the clients that we already have are coming. So you're surrounded by people who already invest in themselves, find value in furthering their education and getting results because they invest in themselves and they're playing at that level. All right, I'll see you guys there. And if you have any questions, what's up? Oh, in about a week, we have a free 5-day training on how to automate your group and monetize from your Facebook group. If you're already not in that training or waiting in the Facebook group for that training, we have a specific group just for that training. Then hashtag 5-day or hashtag gold method below, and we will give you the invite for that. That's a free training. And I just can't wait for that to happen as well. We have over 200 people who are attending that training. So make sure that you go and get value from the free training we have coming up on the 17th. One more thing. There's so many things. GroupConvert itself got an update. And the update is that now you can collect city. You can collect city data from your groups. So if you're real estate, if your group is about real estate, if you're a marketer and want to know the time zone of the people entering your Facebook group so that you can reach out at an appropriate time because the city shows you whether they're Eastern Standard Time or Pacific Standard Time. GroupConvert now collects city data for you in the Google Sheets. So that's super important. It's great for my own team. I didn't know why we didn't add that feature earlier, but I know a lot of you guys are in real estate. A lot of you guys are digital marketers. A lot of you guys want to know the time zone of whoever is entering your group, especially their location, because sometimes you have clients, most of your clients are in Canada, let's say, or most of your clients are in the US. Most of your clients are wherever, and based on their location, you could say, okay, these clients most likely will buy from me, or these people most likely will buy from me because they're located at this area and this area. So, and I know live events are getting popular again, and so it would benefit you to know who lives in Florida, who lives in Miami, who lives in, so it'll tell you the city and state of that person as they come into your group. So I know if you go to groupconvert.com, you can go ahead and buy the lifetime license, but we do have a 7-day free trial. You could try it out for free and see as well. And then last update, okay, the very last update. We are going to provide analytics for your Facebook group. So, which is super cool. It's being able to know who is the most active in your group, who is, who commented the most recent, and being able to send a friend request to them as well. And you don't have to even be the owner of the group. You can go and figure out all this information from the other groups that you're a member of. And that's something that is in the works, and it's going to be rolled out into the future. That is all for all of these updates. So go to groupconvert.com. We have a live event coming up in March 3rd to the March 6th. It's at a mansion, $3 million mansion. We have a free training coming up on the 17th. And GroupConvert Ignite clients are killing it, winning, adding an extra 5 to 6 figures per month. We had a recent client break her personal monthly record doing $50,000 in December. All right, that's it. So all the things. See you guys. Go to GroupConvert.com if you want to try it out for the new feature, and then go to GroupConvert.com/live-2022 if you want to grab a ticket to our live event. All right. Okay, cool. See you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Oh yeah, if you like that video, then you will love all the resources that I have over at kimcdang.com. That is KIMCDANG.com. There you will find all my courses, my extensions, all the offers that I have, as well as a lot of free resources if you are just getting started.